In 1982, the Minnesota Vikings ascended once more to the level of contender. Their solidarity was a tribute to a truly remarkable head coach. Despite an interrupted season, Bud Grant remained unruffled, and the Vikings battled their way into the second round of the NFC playoffs. In Washington, they trailed early, yet they never quit. But Ted Brown's touchdown was to be the last hurrah of the season.
Oh, baby!
On enemy soil, the Vikings fell to the eventual Super Bowl champions. Behind a rampaging runner named Riggins, the Redskins rolled to a 21-7 victory. Though the Vikings tasted bitter defeat, they also knew the sweet smell of success. In their new home, the Vikings and their fans rode a powerful wave of emotion that carried the team to great heights. The Vikings not only qualified for the playoffs again, they did it once more with feeling. Throughout 1982, the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome offered a horn of plenty for fans of Purple Power. The Vikings' new indoor home had a distinctive personality that became apparent from the opening kickoff of 1982. The Metrodome's comfortable hominess induced guests to kick off their shoes. After the Vikings beat the socks off Tampa Bay in the season opener, 4 other Metrodome visitors found themselves on a collision course with defeat. Enthusiasm often appeared larger than life as the Vikings kept their balance over the course of a demanding schedule. This was a team that refused to stay down, and they bounced back from deficits in all 6 of their victories. Though the elements no longer influenced Minnesota football, the Vikings' style of play remained refreshingly unpredictable. By posting a 5-1 record in the Metrodome, the Vikings proved that they were right at home in a new chapter of team history. Another sign of change was a revitalized defensive line. Randy Holloway, Mark Mullaney, and number 79, Doug Martin, worked in harmony to sound doom for quarterbacks. When Mullaney, number 77, applied pressure, Martin reaped the benefits. His 10.5 sacks were an NFL high for the season. Number 75, Holloway, employed a variety of tactics to shoot down aerial attacks. James Duck White, number 72, produced 3 sacks while sharing nose tackle duties with number 65, Charlie Johnson, who was acquired in a preseason trade. Johnson lived up to his reputation as one of the league's best at stopping the run, and he rounded out the Vikings' most fearsome and opportunistic defensive line since the days of the Purple Gang. These big defenders brought about big changes in the Vikings' fortunes. But the team also proved that giant strides aren't always made by giants. Rookie Darren Nelson, number 20, gave the local small fry something to cheer about. Although only 5'9" and 180 pounds, Nelson refused to be bowled over by the competition. As a receiver and runner, Nelson displayed the kind of moves that prompted the Vikings to draft him number 1. Pint-sized pass catcher Leo Lewis was also a rugged competitor. The 5'8" Lewis, number 87, scored 3 touchdowns on only 8 receptions. These young athletes promise a bright future for a team that also has a proud past. The retirement of offensive captain Ahmad Rashad made it possible to recall many memorable moments. Rashad joined the Vikings in 1976, and during his tenure in Minnesota, he became one of the most productive receivers in NFL history, while lending a big hand to many thrilling victories. Ahmad Rashad leaves a lasting impression on a sport that in turn has had a meaningful effect on his life.
The positive things in football, in professional football, over the 10 years that I've learned, is I've learned what it takes to be successful, what kind of hard work, what kind of dedication it takes to be a winner. I can take these things that I have learned from professional football, incorporate them into my life, and I think I'm going to be a winner. And I feel very good about that. In thinking back of those years that I spent playing football, I can't think of any better way I could have spent my 20s. I mean, during my 20s, I had a ball.
In Sammy White, the Vikings have a great receiver whose career is still in full flourish. '82 again brought a crash course in the school of hard knocks for the fearless White, number 85. Though hampered by a sore knee late in the year, White was the Vikings' big play receiver, averaging nearly 18 yards per catch and scoring 6 touchdowns. Sammy White rarely gets the accolades he deserves, but his teammates know that he is one of pro football's most dependable and talented wide receivers. Few NFL quarterbacks shoulder the burden of leadership as capably as Tommy Kramer. His fighting flair comes alive whenever the call to arms is sounded. Kramer enters every battle with an impressive arsenal of weapons, intelligence, courage, and an accurate arm. Add mobility, and you have a versatile performer who threw 17 touchdown passes and ran for 3 scores during the year. Tommy Kramer has an instinct for the game, and in 1982, he again proved to be the very image of a team leader. Matt Blair, number 59, provided defensive leadership. One of the most respected linebackers in the game, Blair was named to the Pro Bowl for the 6th consecutive time. While Blair wields a sword over the heads of opponents, Scott Studwell, number 55, swings a bludgeon. Studwell was the team's leading tackler in 1982. Dennis Johnson, number 52, Jeff Seaman, and Fred McNeil, number 54, cemented this solid linebacking core. The goal of a young secondary was consistency. Number 37, Willie Teal's 5 interceptions helped attain that goal. Clutch performer John Turner, number 27, produced 4 thefts, while Rufus Bess, Kurt Knopf, Keith Nord, and number 45, Tommy Hannon, made important contributions. First-year starter John Swain, number 29, displayed considerable potential. The effervescent Swain was always willing to share his enthusiasm with anyone who crossed his path. Rick Danmeyer connected on all 27 of his conversion tries and booted 11 field goals. Greg Coleman, number 8, was another steady kicker. He finished the season as the NFC's 4th-ranked punter. Coleman got several chances to display his all-around athletic skills. Coleman not only demonstrated that he can run with the football, he also showed potential as a defensive back. The offensive line was manned by workhorses Dennis Willey, Jim Huff, Tim Irwin, Steve Riley, and Wes Hamilton, with support from Curtis Rouse, Terry Talsh, David Huffman, and Brent Boyd. A well-protected Tommy Kramer had reliable targets in tight ends Bob Brewer, Steve Jordan, and number 81, Joe Sensor. Ted Brown was a workhorse who went through his paces like a true thoroughbred. Number 23, Brown was at his best in postseason play, and down the stretch run toward the playoffs, he was especially tough to corral. Brown was complimented by Ricky Young, Darren Nelson, and Tony Galbraith, number 32. When Rashad and White were out of the lineup, there was no letdown when the Vikings turned to backup wide receivers Sam McCullum, number 84, and Terry LeCount, number 80. The Vikings' depth was a tribute to the foresight of Bud Grant and his coaching staff. While 1982 saw several head coaches burn out, Grant retained his unflappable cool. Yet he too played a part in the Vikings' emotional upsurge.
I don't think Bud is an unemotional coach. He just doesn't like to ride the emotional tide. You know, the last few weeks he's been very emotional, and he's been smiling in the locker room, smiling on the sideline, and happy that we're winning. And I think that's very emotional.
When you think about the cold weather and being in Minnesota, I think he fits that image, the big, tough coach with the gray hair that doesn't smile. I mean, that fits Bud Grant. So therefore, people like to think that he never smiles. On Sunday, he tells the story that once he puts the hat on, the smile goes. But I've seen him smile on Sunday.
One key to Grant's lasting success is his keen awareness that in football, as in life, nothing remains the same.
The players have changed, the rules changed, our society has changed. I think you've got to be able to roll or move or change with it.
Though Grant's approach to the game is casual, there are certain things which he insists upon. Black shoes, for example. But even here, there's room for individual expression.
America's shoes. These are America's shoes. Not America's team, but America's shoes.
Since Bud Grant believes that a team should look like a team, he even has the Vikings practice how to stand for the national anthem.
That's something that we all take a lot of pride in. I used to laugh about it before I got here, and I found that once I was named to be captain this year, that I had to go along in front of the line and show all the rookies how to stand at attention during the entire national anthem. And that's just a part of us looking and acting and feeling like a team.
The Dallas Cowboys were the opponents in the first of two unforgettable games that defined the character of the 1982 Vikings. At first, the Dallas defense dominated this Monday night contest. The Cowboys took a 10-0 lead, but Ted Brown helped blaze a comeback trail. His second period touchdown evened matters at 10 apiece. And throughout the game, he turned the Cowboys head over heels in frustration. In the third period, Brown and the defense combined to put the Vikings ahead.
White back to pass. Throws off to the left, and the ball is tipped away, intercepted. This is John Turner, touchdown! Another big play, tipped at the line of scrimmage by Mark Mulaney. John Turner made the adjustment. The old tip drill, grabbed the football, clear standing in the end zone. Another big play.
Dallas regained the lead, but Tommy Kramer remained undaunted. Behind their cool, competitive quarterback, the Vikings surged to a 31-27 lead.
Rolling to his left, waiting. Throwing off to the right, and it is caught at the 8. Into the end zone, touchdown, Ricky Young. Ricky Young caught the pass, stumbled to the ground, no receipt, no defender near him. He got up around the...
When the Cowboys got one final chance to score, they confronted a pass rush that tipped the scales in the Vikings' favor. Finally, Dallas's fabled last-minute magic disappeared with a wave of a hand.
White has the football. Back he goes. Here comes the pressure. Ball tipped in the air. Incomplete. Vikings get the football. Randy Holloway makes another great play. I'll say it again. This is the most emotional I have ever seen a Minnesota Viking football team.
6 days later, this wave of emotion swept through the Metrodome and crested even higher. The Vikings were back in the playoffs, and a fever-pitched enthusiasm level greeted the Atlanta Falcons.
To play first half, 7-3 Atlanta. Kramer back to pass, pumps once, throws over the middle, wide open, 10-yard line, 5, Sammy White, touchdown!
White's touchdown led to a 13-7 halftime lead, but the third period began on an ominous note. when Atlanta scored a pair of touchdowns in less than 2 minutes to assume a 21-13 advantage, it appeared that the Vikings were finished. In fact, they were just getting started. Kramer engineered successive scoring drives. The first capped by a Dan Meyer field goal. The second, early in the fourth period, regained the lead.
Every down, every play, a big one now. Kramer back to pass, fakes handing off. He's a deep drop back. He throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Sam McCullough over the middle. Touchdown! The Vikings lead.
Go, Charlie, let's go.
Atlanta went back ahead 24-23, enabling the Vikings to again display a flair for the dramatic that produced an electrifying climax.
The Vikings come up to the line, 3rd and goal at the Atlanta 5, 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining. No wide receivers, about an 8-man defensive line. Young in motion left. Hand off to the left, Teddy Brown going to the corner. Touchdown!
When it was over, the Vikings had earned a 30-24 victory that proved they were skilled and competitive. But this team was blessed with something extra, something no game plan can stop, something called emotion. The fans felt it, even enhanced it with their own fervor. In 1982, a spark was touched off in Minnesota. From that spark flowed a current of emotion that helped light up a positive new era. And there is every reason to believe that next year it will continue once more with feeling.